Hi guys and welcome to the circus. So here we have another card fight for you guys. So this is gonna be yours truly. On the left side is gonna be me playing my no, it's not even mine. It's Sir PJ's Bruce deck. So this is gonna be the first Bruce deck that I'll be showcasing on the channel. And even if I don't own it, it's still a good deck to play, and I'm actually happy to have the chance to play Bruce even though I don't own it. And thankfully Sir PJ is willing to let me borrow his deck for a while, and yeah, here we are. And I am up against Sir Lenon's proxy deck of Phantom Blaster Dragon. So this is gonna be a proxy play, and sadly we haven't updated this Bruce deck because this is only on set 1. This deck hasn't been updated yet, but still, even without the new supports of Bruce in set 2, this deck is still pretty much very strong because Final Rush is still a mechanic that is really powerful when done correctly. So we're going first actually here. So we ride onto Steve and Soul Charge 1, call out Matt, and then no, actually we went second. I'm sorry. So we swung for we swinged for 1 damage, and then right here he rides Blaster Dark. So this is gonna be the part where I actually misplayed a lot. This is where I realized that going second against Phantom Blaster Dragon can actually ruin your ride line, because they can snipe your Mat or any starter that you have from anywhere because of Blaster Dark's on play skill. So that is when I realized that I shouldn't have attacked his Blaster Dark on the first turn just to protect that Mat in the back row. So I no passed his Vanguard. No, it's not a no pass. It's a 2 to pass because it's a twin drive. So thankfully he didn't get 2 triggers, and I'm still at 0 damage, so I can tank some attacks later. And right here we're gonna move to our Richard's turn, which is our grade 2 turn. Sadly, we don't have a card on the board that we can move to the soul. That is where I realized that yeah, it is a bad play that I made. Even though it happened, let's just see what happens here. How I managed to just to compensate for the lack of draw from the ride line. So right here I swing for 10. He takes a defensive, and my Eden column shuts down and then just proceeds to his turn. So here, let's see what he will do on his first grade 3 turn. He discards one of those grade 1 angels and rides Phantom Blaster Dragon, and using that skill to unplace and calling out a blaster unit from the soul. He calls out a booster with a Blaster Javelin. I believe Blaster Javelin here is a 10k booster. So yeah, let's see what he will do in the next couple of moves he will make. So looking at the board state, I am at 0 damage, he's at 2 damage, and if he uses his Phantom Blaster Dragon skill here to give himself plus 10k in 1 crit, and by retiring 3 and retiring 2 on my board, I can just probably tank that. So right here he used Phantom Blast. No, he used Blaster Dark skill instead. He didn't want to commit too much cards and retired 3 for a 1 card only. So that was actually a very smart move. It's just 1 for 1 and a retire on my part, and he swings for 15k because he has a blaster unit. And yeah, no, he retired a unit that turn, so a Blaster Dark gets plus 5k. So I don't know if I can just guard it. Yeah, I guarded with a Brody for a 10k shield. That's enough. So I tanked the Vanguard because it's only a 1 crit, so it doesn't really matter. I have 1 CB now. No, I don't have 1 CB. I have 1 damage because I use it for Brody. So I ride Bruce. Thankfully though, I don't really use CBs in this deck, and I'm at Final Rush next turn. So I just swing at his Blaster Dark because I need to damage deny him in order to not possibly die next turn, and I don't need to commit more cards because he can just snipe my board. And then right here he Persona Road. So drawing a card, plus 10k to the front row continuously this turn, and let's see what cards he will commit more. So he calls down his Divine Sister thingy. I forgot the name of that Divine Sister. So I don't know. Okay, he took it back, and let's see. Looking at the board state again, I'm at 1, he's at 2. I'm a pretty safe situation here, I would say. No, no, okay, so he persona rolled, so he can call a card from soul again. He can call a blaster unit from the soul again. Okay, he didn't even bother calling out a blaster dark or anything else. Okay, so that's fair, I guess. He used that skill of Maka to retire something and check top 5, check top 4, and call a unit from amongst them and then shuffle the deck. He called a front trigger. That's interesting. Maybe everything was a trigger, so he was forced to call out one. And yeah, let's just see what happens here. So he calls a Blaster Dark. Since he retired a unit, Blaster Dark gains plus 5k, making it a 25k along with a 25k column of Maka. So we swing for 23. I just take it because it's just a 1 crit. I take 1 damage. A Marjorie goes down, swinging for 25, asking for 20, I don't know, 15k shield. And the other column is asking for, I believe, the same number. So I discarded for 15 there, and then I take 1 last attack. So I'm at 3 damage. I can now have 2 CBs that I can probably use for Proto Bulb or some other cards that need CB like this. So I called down a Colossus. I forgot the Soul Charge there, but it will happen the next couple of moves that I will make because I realized that I did a Soul Charge from Colossus' skill. So don't worry about that. So I called a Proto Bulb, and behind that Proto Bulb, I believe I called a what do you call it? A Acrobat Presenter. Okay, let's just see what happens here. So I'm thinking of what board I will make and what kind of pattern, the attack pattern that I will do in order to just make the most out of all the pieces that I have on the board before they're gone next turn, basically. So right here, I called an Acrobat Presenter behind my Proto Bulb, and let's proceed to our final rush turn, our first final rush turn. So yeah, I think I don't need to commit more cards because this board is pretty solid already, I would say. And yeah, so he is also at 2 damage, so he can just tank 3 attacks, and that would be meaning that he can survive this final rush turn. I just need to started pushing because I need to force him on a spot where I can maximize my final rush turn. So he took 1 hit from my Colossus and guarded my Proto Bulb. I didn't use the Proto Bulb skill first because I need the boost. And right here, I used my my Bruce's skill to Soul Blast 5 and stand the front row. So he swings for 23. I swing for 23. I drive checks nothing. So right here, I used the skill of Proto Bulb to scoop in my. Okay, so that was a bit of. I think this was a misplay, but it doesn't really matter anyway because either one of those cards that can be put in the soul will be quite useless anyway. So I just swing for 38. That was still a misplay because the attack first. I attacked first with a bigger column rather than just having rather than just attacking with a smaller column first, which is an 18k versus I'll say it's a 33k column. Yeah, so that was a bit of an oopsie on my part, but still fine. So I just attacked on his Blaster Dark and he took it. And right here, let's just see what happens on his his third grade 3 turn. He calls down that Witch. Oh no, he didn't. So I just called 1 and used that Phantom Blaster skills ability. So to CB1, retire 2 and retire 2 on my part, and then he gets plus 10k in the crit. He uses that skill of the Divine Resistor. Checked up 2, 1 on top, 1 on bottom, right? So he calls a Maka again to just provide intercepts, I guess. So he put the top and put it at the bottom. He knows the top card now, so it's gonna be quite scary on his 23k attack. I'm at 3 damage, so he has a 2 crit, so I really need to guard this in case that's a crit. So I need to commit a PG here or hard guard it, or else I'm gonna die. So let's see what happens here. What will I do in this situation? So I committed a PG and discarding. I'm thinking of what to discard because his other columns are still quite small, to be fair. So right here, I discarded a 15k shield instead of just committing more pieces. Maybe in my hand I still have a bunch of pieces. Oh, he damage denied, so he didn't bother to attack me to reduce my CBs, I believe. The good part about it is that Bruce doesn't care about CBs at all. His pieces is what requires CB. But on my part as well, I think I don't have that much units in hand that I need to use CB on, besides from Brody, I guess. So right here, I just committed some cards on the board to to maybe just plus my hand with Marjorie. I need to have some fodders on the board to skip it with my Marjorie. And the misplay here is that I didn't soul charge when I called the Colossus. That was my bad, but I look at the footage afterwards, and it doesn't really change anything. So I assure you that it doesn't really change anything. Even if I soul charge, the result will be the same. So right here, so I swing now for 25k, but with 1 crit only, and then regard for 15, that's enough. I now swing with my Marjorie to scoop in a unit and then soul charging 1 and drawing a card. And right here, he takes a damage, gets a defensive, and I now swing with my Vanguard for 23k with 1 crit and soul blasting 5 to restand my front row. So since Eden was discarded, he now gets plus 1 crit. So right here, I'm now swinging for another 23, 25, and 33. So I drive checked, he went for a 1 pass, and I checked 2 Brodies. I don't have CB, so Brody will be kind of dead next turn, but still he went for a 1 to pass, so that was actually quite a smart move. He committed a PG to stop my 2 crit, and then he takes the damage once again from my Marjorie. So he goes to 5, and his hand size isn't really that big at the moment. I believe he is in a very tough situation right now, because right here, if I can survive this turn, he has a very low hand count, and meaning I can just run over him with 5 attacks without bothering to taking a damage, because he will die if he takes just 1 more damage basically. So he needs to heal here, or basically just win. Let's see. So I don't know, he called a Sharon. No, he what you call it, he used PBD skill, so to retire the column and then retire 2 of my own, and then he gets plus 10k in a crit. So he now swings for 31 to my Vanguard for 2 crits, and then both his columns are just 13 and 15. So I committed a PG and then discarding the Brody because I don't have CB, so Brody is dead. So right here, he drive checked 2 what you call it, Sharons. That is unfortunate. So I just take 2 attacks because the remaining pieces in my hand are gonna be used for my final rush turn. So I Persona Road on top deck. Oh my god. So still the same basically. So right here, even if that Persona Ride copy won't be there, it's still the same because he is in a tough situation right now. Even if I didn't Persona Ride, I still have 5 attacks that can run over him. He will definitely need a top deck heal or over trigger just to survive this. And right here, I just committed my pieces from my hand because I can just skip it and using Protobulb. And right here, I will swing now for 26. So he takes the 6 damage, and right here he just he was barely there. So yeah, see you guys next time.